so good to have you here. And it's really good to be here. I am making this video and posting it publicly because, as you'll come to learn, the feelings and the topics that I want to discuss in this video are universal amongst human beings. The big question that I want to attempt to answer is one that many of us have struggled with for a long time. But in a way, this video is private because I'm making it for you. I'm putting it here so that you can come back to it and watch it anytime you need to. Anytime you just want to hear me talk about it to you and regain a sense of hope and happiness and to redirect you towards your real purpose in life. Okay? All right. Have you ever felt so sad that you have started to lose hope? That you feel like sometimes maybe the sad days, the sad experiences that you have outweigh all of the good and all of the positive. And you feel like maybe you don't have anything to look forward to because you feel out of control or you feel out of balance. In times of really deep sadness, like when it all just feels so heavy, sometimes people come to a place where they would just do anything to make these feelings go away forever. I hope that you never have to feel like that. But if you do, and if you are experiencing these feelings of sadness that I'm describing now, I want you to know that you're not alone and that there is hope. I was reading a study recently. Actually, I was combing through all kinds of different studies and statistics just to get an idea for what's happening out there outside of my own brain. And the studies that I was reading were staggering. There was a recent study published that said that over 60% of young people struggled with intense feelings of sadness or depression, and that they felt unable to cope with these feelings in healthy ways. Everybody faces tough times. It's with an understanding of these tough times and these sad feelings and emotions that we're going through. It's by seeing the big picture and understanding where it's all leading that can give us this sense of hope. So I want to start by offering you some really practical ways that you can start to bring some of this focus and idea of purpose and hope back into your life if you're feeling like it's lost. After I go through some of the practical ways, I want to transition into answering this big question that many of us have. What is the purpose of living? Or why do I have to feel like I'm so sad? And why does it feel like I'm alone in these moments? You deserve to feel hope. Before I start, I want to acknowledge that your intense feelings are real. And the conversation that I want to have with you is not to diminish those feelings. And it's not to say that those feelings are going to go away. It's me simply trying to give you some solutions of how to work through that and how to take yourself out of a very emotional state and just pause for a moment to use your rational brain, because you're a smarty pants. And if you can just give yourself the space to think through it rationally, using the ideas that I want to give to you today, I think that you'll be able to put yourself in a place where you can harness the emotions and the struggle that you will inevitably go through in life. That can be in moments of deep sadness, like we're talking about today, but this translates into all kinds of moments in life where we just have to suck it up and go through the things and do the hard work. One more thing that I want to acknowledge before we go too far is I'm not a mental health professional. I'm just a person who has gone through this myself. I'm a dad. I'm a husband. I'm a thinker. And on the internet, I am a sharer. But I want to acknowledge that there are only so many things that we can do on our own. And there's only so many things that a video like this can help with. And so if you or anybody that you know is in need of immediate help, there are so many resources out there. And if you're on the internet listening to this or watching this right now, sometimes that's as simple as opening up a new tab and using search words like mental health crisis or mental health help or counselors near me. A lot of times people think that it's a shameful place to be, to reach out for help, to ask for assistance. But it's actually a very intelligent thing to do. Just the fact that you know you're struggling and that you know you could benefit from help from somebody else, it shows strength. It's not weakness. I'm already kind of getting emotional because it's an emotional and personal topic, and I feel it inside of me like so deeply. But the purpose of this video today is it's happy. It's exciting. Because once you understand that in a lot of situations you do have control, and sometimes it's just the way that you think about it, and instead of being so focused on the short term and looking at the big picture, that's the exciting part. And that's what I hope can give you a brighter view of your future. Okay. So, one of the things that I realized with myself personally, and that I think a lot of people struggle with, is the feeling of this thing that we call hopelessness. It's the feeling that nothing really matters, right? It's the feeling that we're out of control. Sometimes it feels like nothing that we do is working. Sometimes it feels like we're not worth anything. Sometimes it feels like we'll never get to a place where we can genuinely feel good because we're struggling so much right now. There's some really practical things that you can do in the immediate. But to understand why we would even get there, to start trying to get better, we have to understand that the reason why we feel hopelessness, the reason why we feel aimless or purposeless, is often because we haven't realized our own inherent worth, our own intrinsic worth, the worth that's inside of us that we just need to understand and harness and use for good. I want to introduce you to this concept. It's called theory of hope. Theory of hope suggests that we need to have goals, pathways, and agency. And this is just a way to say that if we set goals and we figure out a way to get there and we believe in our power to make these things happen, that it can give us a sense of hope. So the goals, pathways, and agency, it's hard for me to remember. So I decided to rename it and call it the 3 P's of hope. And that's purpose, pathways, and power. Purpose, pathways, and power. Okay? It's the same thing though. It's figuring out what our purpose is, and I'll help you with that. And then it's figuring out a way to move towards that purpose. And power is knowing that we have the ability to take those steps down that pathway to reach our purpose. And so you can start to understand that if we have a general map of where we can go and how awesome it can be when we get there, and even along the way, that can give us purpose and that can give us hope. Because then we have a reason to be here. Okay, so we'll get to the idea of purpose because for a lot of people, and for me, that feels really abstract. For me, for a long time, that felt so abstract. What is my purpose for being here? Why do we have to go through all of this? If all of it feels so sad, so often. You don't have to look far to see struggle in the world. But noticing that's going to tie back into your purpose. One thing that you can start doing today to feel better, there's a bunch of different things that you can start to do today, actually. But a lot of them, they sound like cheap ideas or concepts from like a self-help book. They feel cliche. A cliche is just something that's been said over and over and over again that it kind of starts to lose meaning. And I think that's the real issue, is that people hear these things and they sound so simple that it's like, nah, man, that's not going to help me. I am destroyed. I am too far gone. But it's simply not true. There's so many people who have been able to harness some of these easy to do things and have made massive, drastic changes in their lives over time because they gave it time. But you have to be willing to take the next step. You have to be able to find a glimmer of hope to move towards. These simple, practical things that I'm talking about are just having better sleep patterns, eating healthier, regular exercise, having good relationships with people around you. So that might be your family, that might be friends, that might be reaching out to a community that understands you, your unique situation, what you're going through. these are simple things that we can do to move ourselves towards our own purpose, and can move ourselves into a better mental state so that we can process and so that we can live better. Simple things, just like eating better, moving our bodies, taking the time to have a mindfulness or meditation practice. That can be just a few minutes a day of just relaxing, quieting our mind, and letting things go, and just being a little bit more peaceful. Again, these all sound like stupid, simple things. And before I started practicing them, I didn't realize the power of doing these things on a regular basis and how good it can be for our minds. Okay, so we talked about the 3 P's of hope, right? Purpose, pathways, power. We talked about some simple, practical things that you can start doing today. And I want you to not get so caught up in the big picture and knowing exactly where these things are going to take you. And I don't want you to expect immediate results overnight, because that's a trap. Don't focus at first too far into the future. Don't try to do some kind of big, drastic, massive changes. Start practically today with just one thing that can improve your daily life, right? Whatever you're struggling with that can help you a little bit by putting in place today, that'll help you tomorrow. And you can do any of those things that I mentioned, but you probably already know. The one thing that always bugs you, oh man, I really don't like it when this happens, or I don't like it when I don't plan for this, or whatever that thing is that always comes up, or you're always tired, or you're unprepared, or whatever that means for you. You probably already know a simple place that you can start. A lot of people will get so overwhelmed because there inevitably is a string of things. There's a lot of things that can go wrong in life. And people get overwhelmed by trying to solve all of them at once. Be gentle with yourself and just pick one thing. And then as you get a grasp on that and that feels good and that's a regular thing, even if you're not noticing results from it, if you know that it's good for you, keep that thing. And then slowly, gently add other things that you think will contribute positively to your life. And by doing these positive things, we slowly crowd out some of the negative, because we only have so much time in a day, right? And so if we're choosing to take a walk after dinner rather than sitting and scrolling social or doing some other kind of destructive behavior, you can see where just adding in something as simple as a walk after dinner can help move you in a more positive direction. Okay, so we got the 3 Ps. We talked about the practical things. Now, as I promised you, I want to move in to tackling this huge question that I struggled with for so long and attempt to answer it for you. What is the purpose of life? What is our purpose for being here? And why should we push through these days, these times that feel so sad? And for that, I want to tell you a little story about the power of music. I want you to think of your life as one long playlist, a huge collection of songs that represents you and your experiences. We add sad songs to our playlists. We all love sad songs because they represent what we feel inside. They maybe represent us struggling with our self-esteem. Maybe they represent a relationship that we're struggling to manage. They represent the down times in our lives. And then we add happy songs. These happy songs represent our times of winning, our times of celebration. These songs make us laugh. They make us dance. They make us move our bodies. They give us joy. They light us up. When you look at these playlists, it involves all of the experiences, the ups, the downs, the highs, the lows, and we can't have one without the other because we wouldn't have any frame of reference. We can't have the highs without having the lows to contrast. And so we build these playlists through our youth, right? Gaining experience, feeling emotions, having the ups, having the downs, the wins, the losses, and we collect all of this. And we start to see patterns within ourselves. And we start to notice the things that are important to us. And that right there is a little indication of our future selves. The things that we care about so deeply manifest in the things that we listen to, in the things that we talk about, in the things that we just are always there with. That right there is a hint at what your life's purpose is. And so as we grow, we take inspiration from these playlists, from these songs from our younger days, and we turn into our own version of singer-songwriters. For some, they may actually become musicians or artists, or for other people, they become advocates, they become mentors, they become leaders in their communities. People do this through advocating for causes that are important to them. People become mentors, leaders in their communities in the form of being actual teachers or people who represent the public. Others will go on to be writers or vloggers, people in the YouTube community, people like me that talk about our experiences. Everybody has their own way of taking their experiences when they're younger and delivering them as a message as they get older. The things that are important to you, if you are able to harness them and turn them into something that you're passionate about and turn them into a way that you can affect the world around you, that is what gives your life purpose. The problem is that many people don't see themselves as being an agent of change. Many people don't see themselves as being influential or to have the ability to change the world. I would argue that many of these people underestimate their personal value, and often they use this excuse that they can't make huge changes, huge, big, sweeping gestures across the world to create change. They almost pick things that are too broad because they're like the hot topic right now. I'm not going to get into specifics, but you can probably think of some of these things on your own. But if you go back to you and you really just take some time to workshop this with yourself, using your experiences, the painful situations that you went through, the problems that you had to solve for yourself personally, if you take those and you can turn them into solutions for even just a small group of people, you have the ability to massively impact the world around you, because even small changes in the people around you will go on to affect hundreds, thousands, potentially millions, billions of people. It's the power of the internet, man. Even if you never put your ideas, your thoughts online on the internet, even if you just act locally in your own small community, in your own sphere of influence, your friends, your family, the people that you interact with randomly, seemingly, at the store, you have an influence, you have an impact on these people around you. And that's not to say like make signs and run around and try to change everybody's minds. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about reaching out to the people who care about the things that you do, the people that want to have that conversation or have the same problems and would love to learn how you solved them. Again, I think that a lot of people underestimate what they have to share. And it's because of maybe unresolved self-esteem issues. Often we're told that, we need to choose a safe path and do these steps that have been laid out before us and we'll have a happy life. But how is that working for so many people? I don't think it is. I think that there's a lot of people who know their purpose, who know the issues that matter to them, who know that if they could just take that next step, maybe they could make a difference. But they don't for some reason. And I'm telling you, don't make that mistake. I'm telling you that right there, that is the purpose of life. It's not up to you to change the whole world, but it is your purpose to take what you've learned and give it to somebody else as a solution. It's how humans have evolved over billions of years. It's how we got to this point in humanity right now. And I think that we can all agree that we have a lot of work still to do. It's such a complex subject. Life, humanity, the human experience, societies. We still have a lot of work to do. And you can be a part of that solution. You can help make the world a better place for younger generations. What I'm saying is that maybe one day you can help to relieve humanity of some of the unnecessary pains and struggles that you had to go through. And you never know how this is going to manifest in the long term. But you don't have to, and that's the beauty in it. The beauty in it is that all you have to do is become an active participant in your life. To know that these sad times that you go through, there's meaning in it, there's purpose in it. It's finding that and finding little solutions for it and sharing it. And by me sharing this with you, and potentially other people, it starts to affect that chain down the line, and who knows where it goes. And where it goes doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the outcome is. It's the feeling of contributing. It's the feeling of knowing that you are a part of humanity's history, that you're continuing this legacy that we have pushed forward through over billions of years of evolution. Making the world a better place is your life's purpose, both locally and globally. It's embracing life's ups and downs as part of the human experience, knowing that when you are happy and everything feels amazing, that there will inevitably be a downturn and sad things are going to happen and you're going to have to go through them. But then, inevitably, things are going to go back up. And that's the playlist. That's the happy songs. That's the sad songs. That's what creates the whole big picture. Your story, your music, they matter. And I want you to know that. And I want you to know by simply making small changes in your life, these practical things that you can do to physically feel better day by day, and then knowing that whether you understand it right now or not, that you have a purpose in the world, that you're here for a reason. And I want you to know that whatever happens, whatever you choose to do, it's going to be awesome. And you don't have to live up to any expectations. You only have to be you. That's the beauty in all of this. It's actually the requirement of all of this. It's a requirement that you don't live up to anybody else's expectations. It's a requirement that you look inside yourself and find what lights you up and to honor that light. And anything else would just be disrespectful to yourself. Honor your light. And know that whatever you do, it matters. It has purpose. It has meaning. Even if it doesn't feel like it in the moment. Because oftentimes it doesn't. Just know that you are enough. And that I love you. And that you are going to go on to do amazing things. I know it. But don't do it for me. And don't do things just because you think you should. Do them because you know you should. And it's only by getting quiet and listening to yourself that you'll get there. Don't put too much pressure on yourself because it's an organic process and life is a long time. And like I said, often you don't even know how powerful you are. So I hope that you continue to do well and take care of yourself. Be gentle with yourself and with others. Okay? Peace.